And welcome back to the
Let's
Tuned In podcast.
Go.
Andrew and Braden here with the start of the NBA
man.
or preseason.
We've made it.
We have made it. It's finally basketball. I was excited for this. Watching a game in Abu Dhabi. Watching a game with the Lakers. Watching a game with the Jazz yesterday.
Yeah.
What a time. How's it been for you?
Oh man, it's so awesome. This is the best time of year for sports, I think. I saw a graphic the other day. There's college football until the end of the year. There's not a single day without college football. We got NFL, hockey starting, Jazz are going. Oh my gosh, dude, what a time. MLB playoffs I've been seeing. I'm not a big MLB guy, but I know that's going
WNBA
on.
playoffs.
That's true.
You want to watch that?
Absolutely crazy, dude. Lots going on. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Good.
It's been a busy week with exams, but to end it
off
off with some basketball is beautiful.
Yeah. So, it's so fun.
It was really nice to be able to watch yesterday. So we'll get into that in depth.
Yeah, so fun. We got an exciting episode today. We're getting ready to start our season. We're going to talk about our first preseason game against the New Zealand Breakers. And then we'll talk about a couple more preseason games we got coming up this week. And then, as you've all been waiting for, we're going to do our Jazz Superlatives, just like we did last year. We got a little bit of NBA and local sports news. We'll get into those on today's episode.
Make sure to check us out. Any platform you can find a podcast on, we're there. And check us out on Instagram. Send us a message or comments. Let us know what you think of the episodes.
And this is episode 45 of Tuned In Jazz. All right. Well, like we mentioned, we're back. The Utah Jazz are back. We played our first game last night. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I think the thing we're almost excited about, fan-friendly concessions.
Let's go, Ryan
are
Smith.
coming to the Delta Center.
Thank you, Ryan.
So the real question I think everybody wants to know is how many $3 hot dogs are you going to put down at your first Jazz game this year?
Oh, that's the best deal, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, now I'm going to buy their hot dogs instead of the J-Dogs that were $5. So.
Oh, yeah. They're probably better, too, I would guess. I hope, at least.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to be eating that popcorn, though. You can just power down some popcorn.
Yeah.
Doesn't fill you up that much. Great snack.
For real. And the water, dude, I feel like every time I'm like yelling and then I just feel bad when I have to buy a $7 water at the Delta Center. But waters are $2, popcorn, nachos, hot dogs, and Far's ice cream are all $3.
Let's go.
Which is pretty awesome. You know?
Yeah, I remember we went to the March Madness in the Delta Center as well.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And I just didn't buy water, and that was like a 8-hour thing.
Yeah,
and
dude.
so my throat was parched. I was trying to get the drinking fountain water, but $2 water is phenomenal. I'll take that.
Yeah, I remember we were like stressed and trying to figure out what we were going to eat that was like we could justify the price. We're going to have to take out a student loan in order to get our stuff, but yeah, that's kind of exciting. I'm guessing those lines are going to be very long, though, at whatever place they sell those.
Yeah,
at.
They better make a couple more locations, I think that means maybe the other restaurant or places might have to lower their prices a little bit too to compete. You know, because everybody is going to buy a hot dog.
Yeah, that is so true. I hope so. Yeah, more supply demand type deal.
Yeah, and definitely another thing that happened is media day, right? Throughout the entire league. The Jazz posted all the interviews from all their players, and I didn't get a chance to watch all of them because, man, that would take 3 hours to do. So I'll just start. I watched Patty Mills' interview, and that was actually really interesting.
Yeah.
First, and I also watched Bryce Sensabaugh. First, they talked about Patty Mills getting the number 8. Bryce Sensabaugh had to give it up to him, and Sensabaugh is now going to be 28. Just they had that talk together, and sounds like they didn't explain, but Patty Mills, that number is really significant to him and his family.
Wow, that's cool.
So a little number change right there. And then Patty Mills was very explicit about what his job is on this team. And he said his job on this team is to create a great locker room culture.
Let's go.
And he said, quoting Will Hardy to him, that he's going to be an extrovert on a team of introverts.
Ooh,
which is
true.
Very interesting to me.
That is so true, though.
So he's very outgoing.
Yeah.
Talk to everybody, be excited. I'm sure he'll be the guy on the bench that gets hyped after every big dunk or every big block. But he's really going to be there to increase the culture of the locker room and help these young guys learn what it's like to be a pro.
Yeah.
He's been in the league for like 12, 15
Forever.
years.
Yeah, he was on the Spurs, one of the Spurs championships, the last one. Yeah.
And guess who else was on the Spurs with him? Will Hardy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So he's reconnecting with Will Hardy. They're already good friends. And apparently Will Hardy was one of the people that gave Patty Mills a chance in the beginning.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that with Patty Mills? Do you feel like that's a good role for him to have, or anything else you'd expect from him?
Yeah, I think. Oh, interestingly, Patty Mills and Will Hardy are the exact same age. I just looked that up.
Oh, that's crazy too.
But yeah, I think that's great. I think I don't think I've ever met an Australian that's not an extrovert, so that kind of makes sense that he's an extrovert. But I also think just like we have a lot of really young guards that we want to work out well, like Keontae Collier, Bryce Sensabaugh, even Cody Williams just as a wing. Like having a guy like Patty Mills who's just so experienced and can and is willing to like be that guy, the like role model.
Yeah.
He's not coming in expecting like he's gonna play 20 minutes a game. And so I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, he said, I'm hoping to make an impact on the Jazz this year and for years to come, is what he said.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's exactly what we want from Patty Mills. And the fact that he's bought into that role is fantastic as well.
Yeah. I also saw something interesting. I saw the clip, but they replayed it at the game last night, a clip of Jordan Clarkson at Media Day, and they asked him about how Lowry is as a leader. And he was talking about how like his military service just kind of changed him a little bit. Like he's very much an introvert guy. We know that about Lowry. He's like, but he just talked about how much more vocal and assertive he's been like as the leader of the locker room. And it's like, I think it's cool that we have Patty Mills there too, to like, he's just like setting a tone with Lowry. Lowry doesn't have to do it by himself, you know, he has help.
To even encourage and give that authority and that power to Lowry to lead the team. Yeah. Encouraging and helping. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else you heard from any of the other guys on their interviews?
I don't think so. I think I did see a bunch of clips from like them all taking pictures, and it seems like the vibes are pretty good right now. So I think that's kind of exciting. I don't feel like it was very good at the end of the season, so I was a little worried, but I think we're going good now. So
yeah, the only other one I'd say, I was watching Lowry's interview. He apparently turned down the Netflix series.
Oh yeah, you were saying that.
Called The Starting Five. I'm guessing that they got Sabonis instead of him.
Yeah.
After that, but it kind of makes sense. That kind of makes it so that there will be less cameras around and less pressure. But that would have been really cool as a fan to be able to see what's going on in the locker room throughout the year. But we won't be able to see that. It's all right, Lowry. We understand. I don't know if I would have wanted that either.
No, yeah.
But interesting. And then another interesting thing is Keontae's interview. They talked to him a lot about having the starting point guard role and what that means for him this year, what kinds of things he's tried to improve. And he just talked a lot about how last year he was kind of thrown into the fire. Yeah. He was kind of playing less minutes, and then at some point during the year, Will Hardy just decided to throw him in. Yeah. And he talked about how he learned from that, and then this offseason being able to practice more, and he feels a lot more prepared just having been in the league 1 year. And so that's exciting as a Jazz fan to see that he's ready to go, accepting that role well as a starting point guard.
Oh, absolutely. At one point last season, we talked about how he didn't necessarily play point guard at Baylor. This was kind of a new thing for him. And so I'm glad he gets a whole off season to actually like practice the skills to be an NBA starting point guard. I'm excited to see how that goes. We got to see it a little bit last night with the New Zealand Breakers.
We played them last year in preseason, too.
So, yeah.
And I think we beat them last year by a lot, too.
Yeah, at what point does this become a rivalry? I guess they got to beat us first, maybe. Maybe it has to go both ways.
Yeah, definitely.
But big win, 116-87. It was pretty awesome. We got to see a lot of different players. I think we saw mostly everybody, maybe 3 or 4 guys we didn't see, but...
Yeah.
Did you have any thoughts from the game? There was a lot there to dissect.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the first thing is just like I'm glad that basketball is back.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it was exciting to watch, even though it's a preseason game that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah,
I was excited while watching this game,
yeah.
And then just an all-around good team effort. Felt like there's a lot of alley-oops, a lot of great dunks happening, and I was just liking how much the ball was being moved around from all the players.
Yeah.
What about you, just in general from the game?
Yeah, I thought it was nice to see. You know, last season we talked about how it was just like kind of a pain not being able to watch a lot of rookies or younger guys play, but we saw like a lot of them play last night. A lot of our young guys got some chance to make some mistakes, which is good. I think that's what preseason's for. And overall, just, I don't know, I'm so excited to see these guys in Jazz. A lot of new faces in Jazz jerseys. I saw Bryce Sensabaugh last night, and I was super confused for a second because I didn't remember that he wore 8, but I was like, who the heck is number 28? Right. And I didn't know that about Patty Move, but that's cool. But yeah, one guy particularly, though, that I was really impressed with, even though his stats don't really jump off the page, but Walker Kessler just looked so much more comfortable to me.
Really?
I thought so. I don't know. Maybe that's just wishful thinking. I'm really one that wants Walker Kessler to work out well for the Jazz this year, because I think this is a make or break year for him, for the Jazz.
He's such a likable guy.
Yeah,
too.
He is.
We all love Walker, and we want to see Walker do well.
Yeah.
The fact that he was in the starting lineup was good too. John Collins only played 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Of course, it's just preseason, so we don't know what it'll be in the end. But the preseason's a chance to kind of feel out some of the lineups. Coach Hardy's probably going to mix and match quite a bit and give the young guys more time. It's kind of like the opposite of a regular game where the starters actually get the least amount of minutes compared to the bench.
Yeah, it's true.
But I'm just going to point out the obvious. Johnny Juzang balled out this game.
Oh, yeah, dude.
5 3-pointers, 19 points, a rebound and assist. Just do really great game from him.
Yeah.
He's kind of making me excited. I might be a little bit too excited about Johnny Juzang after that game. Yeah,
I wasn't expecting him to like find a spot in the rotation this year, but now I'm kind of wondering, like, is there room for Johnny Juzang to get 15 minutes a game this year?
Yeah, now I'm thinking, is there room for Hendricks with Johnny Juzang playing this well? Yeah.
It adds a lot of question mark. I think he didn't even play till like the second half. Like, I didn't even see him.
Yeah, he only played 18 minutes.
Yeah, he balled out. 19 points in 18 minutes is pretty crazy. That's a guy who's trying to earn some minutes, so I respect that.
Yeah, I'll also point out Isaiah Collier. He had 6 assists, but also 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
So he's learning, like you said, being able to make mistakes is good.
Yeah.
Just glad that he's making those plays now so that he can learn from them, right? But also 6 assists is awesome. And I know a lot of the players in the press conferences talk specifically about Isaiah Collier being able to pass well and have good passing vision. So look out for that as he keeps playing.
Yeah, absolutely. One that I really thought Bryce Sensabaugh looked good, like I mentioned. I really loved like the different lineups we were trying. One that I thought actually looked really good was when we had Collins and Hendricks on the floor as the 4 and 5. Hendricks had a really nice dish down low to Collins from the post, and it was. Anyways, but that's just one. It'd be interesting to see if we like roll with that in the season. Collins at the 5 and Hendricks. That gives us a lot of like versatility defensively, I think. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, we also did really well rebounding wise. We got 44 rebounds this game to their 35.
Yeah.
And then passing the ball, we had 26 assists. They had 23, so not that many more than the Breakers, but we did pass the ball around to get them out. And I always love to point out the turnovers. We did have 21 turnovers.
Yeah.
So we do need to continue working on that, but in time.
Yeah.
15 or less, I think, is a W, but 20 or more is 15 or more is a little too much.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Lots of another guy. Just to mention real quick, Drew Eubanks. I didn't see anything too crazy from him, but I don't know if you see that block late in the game.
Yeah.
The guy goes up for the block, and he just meets him at the rim. I think he ended up with like two
blocks.
2 blocks, yeah. Highest on the team last night. I wasn't expecting Drew Eubanks to be a defender, so I hope that this trend continues because we could use a nice
when he was
guy.
on the Trailblazers, I think he led their team in blocks, and he only played like 20 minutes or something. Wow. So he's definitely a paint defender. Yeah,
so I hope that trend continues. If he, I still don't know where he fits in our rotation, if that's just a preseason guy we play or if he has a role.
ESPN has him listed as a power forward, which doesn't make any sense to me. I think he should definitely be a center.
I think so too. But he'll be an interesting one to watch if we do get to watch him. I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, well, a great game. We're excited. We have a couple more games coming up this week with preseason. By the way, it looks like they're away this time, or one of them's at home, 2 are away. These games are like $10 to go to.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself not busy on Monday night, you could go. But we're playing the Rockets at home on Monday, Thursday in Dallas and Mavericks, Saturday at the San Antonio Spurs. So 3 more games. By the time we record the next episode, I guess we'll have looked at 2 of those. Mm-hmm. So pretty exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I noticed last night in the second half, looks like some of the stands are pretty empty. So I think we could fill it a little better.
Yeah,
all of us collectively.
I think people aren't as excited to go see the Breakers because it's not another NBA team.
I respect.
So,
and I think we were up like almost 20 at halftime or 15 or something. So maybe people were just getting ready for conference weekend. We know how Utah is. So
right.
All right. Well, what you've all been waiting for, we have our Jazz Superlatives. This is, you might remember if you've been listening for a while. Last year we did this. We kind of gave some general categories and what Jazz players are going to fit. So we're going to do that again this year with maybe a couple of changes, but pretty much the same.
And we're gonna set these in stone. Once you give your superlative, it's set in stone, and then at the end of the season, we're gonna come back and see, do we make good predictions?
Yeah.
Did things go the way we had hoped? And that's gonna be exciting as well. We did that last year, and it was a great time. So I'm excited again.
All right. Well, let's start at the top. We're gonna do our top 3 scorers. And we talked about it. We're going to do points per game with a little asterisk of
we're going to play enough games.
Yeah, we're going to consider who's going to play enough games, who might get, sad at some point,
maybe like 50
injured
plus games.
Yeah, so we'll do that. I'll let you go first.
Top scorer, of course, Markkanen.
Of course.
I think that's a no-brainer.
Up there, yeah.
Then I've got Colin Sexton as my number 2.
Ooh,
just because of his scoring run at the end of last season. I think he's going to keep that up.
That's fair.
And then as my 3rd scorer, I've got Keontae George. I'm thinking, you'll see this later in my other things too. I'm thinking this is a big year from Keontae.
Yeah. We actually have the same 3, a different order.
Okay.
I got Colin Sexton. No, I'm just kidding. He's not number 1, but Markkanen's number 1.
Let's go.
And I think Keontae, I do think it's going to be close with Sexton and Keontae. I don't think they'll probably be like 19 and 20 or something would be my guess. Or something like that. But I got Keontae at 2 and Colin Sexton at 3.
Okay.
I agree. I think Keontae, there's no reason he can't.
I think he's got to draw more fouls.
Yeah.
As well. If he could get like maybe 2 or 3 free throws made per game, that would help him a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how Colin Sexton got his scoring runs, is drawing lots of fouls.
Just being aggressive.
Yeah, I think that would help him.
I hope he's aggressive, but not like Keontae's a guy who can, we've seen him jump out the gym before. So I hope he's not like too much where he's like getting injured, but I think he could get a couple extra points by being a little more aggressive.
Yeah, last year he had 2.5 out of 3 free throws per game.
Interesting. So. Okay. Yeah, so we could definitely up that, maybe even double it.
Yeah, and also just interesting for 3-pointers, Keontae made 2 a game for 3s, so maybe he could go. And Laurie was 3 a game.
Interesting.
So,
okay. All right. So that takes us to our top rebounders of this next season. Who do you got for that one?
I just did my number one guy.
Okay.
Markkanen again. He did it last year, I'm pretty
okay.
sure, in terms of like rebound per game. And yeah, I think he's going to be more aggressive in the paint using his body and the muscle that he's put on. And so I think that will equate to lots of rebounds too.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's a great pick. I got Walker Kessler. I know that I just have a gut feeling about Kessler this year. Maybe that's going to make me look bad at the end of the season, but we'll see. I think he's going to be our starting center this year, and it won't be him and Collins. I think that's going to open up more rebounds for him, and so I think he's just going to have a really good rebounding year. I don't know any other reason other than I just feel like it's going to happen. So, what about our top assist man next season?
I got Keontae as that as well.
Yeah.
He had a great start. When he started playing more minutes, he was getting like 10 assists on quite a few games. And so I think now that he's taken the point guard role and he's had a whole off season to accept and prepare, I think he'll get more assists this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I got Keontae as well. Although I did put an asterisk, I'm excited to see what Collier could do. My pick is Keontae, of course. But
that is definitely one of his strengths.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting if he finds a role. I could totally see him just being our assist guy, and barely edging him. But I'm going to go with Keontae, too. I think he's going to have a good season. All right, best defender. What do you got? Got
Walker Kessler for this one.
Yeah.
He's got that 97 block rating on 2K that he's got to use. I'm not as high on him as you for next year.
That's fair.
With the gut feeling. I think he will continue his defense easily, though.
Yeah.
As long as he's able to keep blocking shots and protect the rim, I think he's our best defender if he does that again.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got Walker Kessler as well. I think the Utah Jazz defense this year lives and dies with Walker Kessler. I mean, it kind of did last year a little bit. It was just like when he was playing well and being aggressive, defending the rim, it just makes everything else work better,
Right.
So I hope that we've another guy just that I thought I'd mention, even though he's not my pick, is I think Taylor Hendricks is going to make a big improvement this year on defense.
That's my dark horse, too.
Yeah. So I think we saw it a little last year when he was like going one-on-one with Kevin Durant and, getting a hand in his face. And, of course, you can only do so much against Kevin Durant, but I think he could be a good defender. So, all right. That takes us to our biggest improvement. Speaking of, who do you have for biggest improvement this year?
It's going to sound like a broken record, but I got Keontae George.
Oh, okay.
He only averaged 13 points a game last year. I think he could get that up to at least like 17, 18, 19, maybe 20, but I think high teens.
Absolutely.
And that would be a huge jump for him. And then I think his assists can jump a couple as well.
Absolutely. I love that pick. Because I already think Keontae is so good.
So you're saying you would have picked him, but you're going to throw a wild card out.
I'm going to say it's going to be Bryce Sensabaugh.
Okay.
I loved Bryce Sensabaugh last year, but we heard from Coach Hardy and everybody how like kind of immature some of his like game decisions were, as far as understanding NBA offenses. But what I've seen so far, he seems like he's getting it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I hope that that's true, and I'm saying he's going to find his way into the rotation this year as like a solid bench scorer. So, yeah.
Man, everyone's getting so buried by minutes, though.
Yeah,
that's my thing. I think that means Clarkson's going to have to play less minutes. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Because we love everybody on the team. We just got a lot of bodies right now.
Yeah.
I also have a dark horse of Juzang just because of last night.
Okay.
We'll see about that, though, because that was one game.
Yeah. All right. It takes us to who's going to be an all-star for the Utah Jazz this year.
I think mine's just going the obvious route. I think Markkanen's our only guy that's got a shot.
Yeah, that's who I picked as well.
Okay, that was easy.
Yeah. I think it's hard when you're focusing on development to even get an all-star, so I think it's going to be tight whether Markkanen even gets it at all.
If he does what he does again what he did last year, I don't think he's going to make it.
No.
So he's got to improve a decent bit.
Yeah.
Because even like the Lakers were a lower seed and LeBron and AD made it.
Yeah.
But that's just because they were so dominant, so much carrying their team.
Yeah. Well, we even talked about it last week with our top 25. Like, Markkanen wasn't really even that close. Like, the NBA is just so deep right now.
Yeah, he was like maybe 30.
Yeah, so it's going to be tight. He's going to have to make a little bit of improvement, which I think he could. So who knows?
Yeah.
He could do it. All right, best rookie. This one could be interesting, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he could have gone any of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Cody Williams, though. I just think that he is such a professional in his way that he's going about the game.
Yeah.
He's going to make mistakes like all the rookies will. But I think that no matter what lineup that we do, he's going to be able to slide in fairly easily. So he can play 3, he can play 2, maybe play a little bit of small ball 4, hopefully not. But I think he'll just be able to slide into these lineups effortlessly. And I think by the end of the season, he might be an all-rookie team.
Yeah, interesting. So I went with Isaiah Collier. I'm really excited about him. Big Isaiah Collier guy. I think he's this season, I think he's gonna surprise some people. I think by the end of the season he's gonna be seen as the steal of the draft, I hope.
Oh, okay.
I do think by the end of the season Cody Williams will be better, not to like back up on that. But I think it's going to take him a little bit of time to adjust.
But you think that Collier's going to beat his expectations by a larger margin?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's just going to be clear earlier in the season that he's like a guy who's out there doing great things, even though he's probably going to have 5 turnovers in the process.
Yeah, he's going to get a couple of those.
And so, but I could see Cody Williams taking some time to adjust, and at some point we kind of maybe, I don't know if there will be a time this season when we kind of shut everybody down again, but I could see a guy like Cody Williams thriving when it's like, you're the guy, go, you know? Mm-hmm. So, anyways, but I'm going with Isaiah Collier. I think he's going to have a great rookie season. But shout out to Kyle Filipowski as well. We love him as well.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see. I think that one's a little more up in the air. So
I think he gets opportunity, though, just with there being less power forwards and centers than guards.
That's true.
And
he's got good
forwards,
size. Yeah. Okay, well, that takes us to the last one, which is last year we said ideal lineup going into the playoffs, but we're a little less optimistic this year.
Yeah.
So we're going to say at the end of the season, what's your ideal lineup that you hope the Jazz run?
Do you just want me to go all at once?
Yeah, do it.
Keontae George, Colin Sexton, the guards.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Williams, Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler.
Oh, we had the same lineup.
Exactly the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
The question mark for me there was Cody Williams.
Yeah.
Because it was between Cody Williams, Bryce Sensabaugh, and Hendricks for me.
That's true.
For the reason why I picked Williams, though, is just because he seems to already be a professional scorer and decent defender, and so I think him being able to shoot a little bit better than some of those other guys puts him in there for me. But I don't know, why'd you pick him or any of the other guys?
Yeah, I love that. I think Keontae's a layup.
So is Markkanen, right?
Yeah, a strong opinion I have is that Markkanen is not a small forward like we had run him a little bit last year. I think he fits best power forward, especially next to Kessler. So I think those were easy for me. The hard ones for me was Sexton and Williams. Those wings are kind of... I think Sexton has a role in our team, but I'm not sure if it's like better as a sixth man or as a starter. I'm not really sure about that one, but I do think as of right now, I think he's got the best chance of being our best shooting guard. And Cody Williams, to me, is just kind of wishful thinking. I really hope by the end of the season that he's an NBA starter. I think he could be. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. And then Kessler, we kind of already talked about. Yeah, we're just hoping that he doesn't necessarily have to get fully back to his rookie self, but get some jump and more enthusiasm into the season.
Yeah.
Because I think the main thing that we were talking about with him last year was just it felt like there were lots of times where he wasn't giving as much effort, or like he just wasn't as impactful on the floor. He's just kind of there.
Yeah.
As opposed to his rookie season where he was like, we're thinking, wow, we got Walker Kessler for Rudy Gobert, and Walker Kessler looks better than Rudy Gobert right now. But yeah, now he just looked like he had less effort last year. His minutes went down, so I think that kind of shot his confidence. So I hope his confidence goes up. Hope that he knows that we're all pulling for him and want him to succeed.
Yeah, and I really just don't feel like the Jazz have another option right now at center. Like I don't know if
Filipowski, if he ends up showing something, maybe.
Yeah, I think John Collins at this point I kind of think the Jazz realized that's a bad contract that we're in. I don't think he stays around any longer than his contract, or even this season probably. I don't know. Does it expire this season? I can't remember, but
I don't know.
Anyways,
I think it's either one or two.
We really need Walker Kessler to develop this year, and so it's a lot of wishful thinking, but I think he could do it. So
yeah, I'm just looking up John Collins' contract real quick so we can know. Yeah, so his contract does go this year and then a player option next year. So he'll probably take that player option. It's $26 million.
It's a big contract, yeah.
Yeah, so you'll probably see him next season as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see him being a guy we move at the deadline. Depending on how it goes, I guess. If he plays better, maybe.
And depending on the market.
Yeah, maybe this year was last year was just a adjustment year for him, I hope, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with him this year.
Love it. Well, I'm excited. Those are set in stone now.
Yes, sir.
We may post those, or we'll at least save them here so that at the end of the season we can come back to it, see how we did.
Yeah.
And we're excited. We are very, very optimistic about a few of those guys and hope that our rookies, our second-year players can make those jumps. Show us that they can be part of this long-term team, because we really don't know.
Yeah.
Some of these guys will be part of the long-term team. Some of these guys will be gone within 2 years, so we'll see where they end up.
Yeah. And I think our best coach category is up in the air, and whether Will Hardy actually plays the young guys this year, because that's what we want. So otherwise, we're picking.
Jason Terry looks nice,
right? Yeah,
we're
picking. We're gonna pick the G League coach if he doesn't. So yeah, you're on thin ice, Will. Oh.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple bits of NBA and local sport news before we end the episode. Just one, send our condolences to the Mutombo families. Dikembe Mutombo passed away this past week. What a legend.
Legend.
I don't know the full scale of what he did, but I know he did a lot for basketball in Africa, was a great advocate for that. Such a great human being.
Absolutely.
In his kindness to everyone. I saw Charles Barkley put a nice video on Instagram talking about him, and he said that we didn't just lose a basketball player, we lost a great human, great person. So condolences, and we're grateful for the great life Dikembe Mutombo lived.
Yeah, absolutely. He done so much for basketball back in his home country, and I'll add to that, just an incredible human being. He I don't think any other NBA player has as much of an iconic symbol as his finger wag. I think that's you still
everyone
see people
knows
do
that's
it.
him. Yep.
Yeah, and so great player, great person. Prayers to his family. We talked a little bit about the cat trade last week, but it was apparently a little more complicated. It wasn't completely through last week when we filmed our episode. They had to add some stuff. So they had to add a third team. The Charlotte Hornets, I guess, got in on it to help out. The Knicks sent 3 second-round picks to Charlotte, and Charlotte also got a bunch of guys: Daquan Jeffries, Charlie Brown, Dwayne Washington Jr. So, I guess the Knicks were just feeling generous and helped out. Got a couple young guys, I guess.
Interesting.
But that trade is now officially done. I've seen Julius Randle I think he played he was there last night in Minnesota against or they play the Lakers.
Was he suiting up or just there?
I think he was just there. I didn't
Okay.
see him play, but
Interesting.
yeah, pretty interesting. It's over and done now, so kind of interesting. But
And then we got some Utah Hockey Club news too.
yes, sir.
Just as much as we're
Let's
excited for Jazz, we're
go.
trying to get excited for hockey.
Oh yeah.
Did you see the unveiling that happened at the Delta Center?
Yeah, they got the hockey puck out there, right, with the Jazz note. So it's now a dual stadium. It's official.
It's true. It looked pretty lit out there. I want to go get a picture next to
Yeah.
both of them now.
Yeah.
I was actually walking past the Delta Center. I was up in Salt Lake
Nice.
this week, and I had noticed the Jazz symbol was purple, and I was like, wait a minute. They changed that, and I didn't know that they were going to add the hockey puck, and
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense now after I've been walking past it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I actually, I'll tell you, I think the hockey jerseys are kind of growing on me. I thought they kind of looked just
Really?
kind of bland, but I think they look kind of cool. So I don't know. I wonder if they're going to stick with the same color scheme if they pick a brand here pretty soon. But
Yeah, the
I've been
blue.
looking
I
kinda
love
nice.
the blue, so
Yeah.
I'm for that.
it looks clean. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, they named Clayton Keller as the captain of the team. I don't know much about hockey, right? We're learning, so be patient with us if you know a lot. But Clayton Keller, he played, 7 years for the Coyotes. One of their best players. Last year, he scored 33 goals
Wow.
in 78 games, so that's pretty good for him. And
Yeah.
also 43 assists. So he's going to be our best player, really.
Yeah.
And I think, it looks like he's a 4-time All-Star, and he was an All-Star last year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
I'm still learning things, but that's pretty good.
Yeah.
We got an All-Star already on the team.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I was able to watch one game this week. I'm still kind of getting my grounds on hockey here. I watched the Ducks game, which I think is the one we lost 5-2. But pretty exciting. Hockey's just so it's like
Chaotic.
yeah, and it's so hard to keep track of where the puck is, and it goes back and forth so much, and it's like it's like soccer where you only are excited for a few moments where it's about to be a score, but you're also just feeling like that all the time because you always feel like you're in scoring
wait a
range.
minute. Am I going to... And then you blink and you miss it.
Right, yeah. It's so crazy. But yeah, I was really impressed with our goalie, even though he gave up 5 goals. They had 40 shots on goal. So
Holy crap.
okay, wait, I practiced it. It's Vejmelka. That's how you say it.
Let's go.
There's a J in there, so I wasn't sure if it was Vejmelka or Vejmelka, but they were saying Vejmelka, so I think it's Vejmelka. So now I know our goalie's name, so we're in.
Yeah, he's a Stonewall Vejmelka.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you to everyone for listening to this episode of the Tuned In Jazz podcast. We are grateful for your listening, and we hope that you're as excited for the Jazz season as we are. We've only seen one game, and it's not even a real game, and we're so excited. And so let us know who you're most excited for in our rookies and our young players, Walker Kessler, or whoever it is on the team that you want to see make the biggest jump, and who you're most excited to see once the season starts. And we'll be here next week with another episode after some more preseason games, and we'll catch you then.
Take care.
Take care.